So I thought I would make another video. This time I will be talking over footage over Apex. I didn't do well in these series of games, but anyways, I wanted to talk about why I uninstalled Overwatch 2. For reference, I spent roughly about 1,000 hours in Overwatch 1. I spent approximately 800 of those hours in ranked. I only played ranked, and for most of my time I was hard stuck plat, and later on I just stopped playing, so I didn't get ranked some seasons, but I was playing mostly in gold because I would just play enough replacements and then I would quit. But yeah, I really had a soft spot for Overwatch. I really liked that game. I also hated it because the reason why I thought it was unique was that it was basically a MOBA. It wasn't a FPS game. You played it in first person and it had shooter mechanics, but you had to play it like it was League of Legends or Dota or some, Smite, whatever game you play. Because if you went in by yourself trying to shoot people, you died, So I really like that 6v6 format. I really like the kind of MOBA-esque gameplay, but it felt like a first-person shooter. And your individual mechanical skill, of course, mattered, but what was more important was your teamwork in terms of how well you work together as a team, your team synergy, your positioning, all of that. And that's why I really enjoyed Overwatch 1. And so I lost interest because for me it was frustrating because just like League or Dota, as an individual it's very hard to carry a game unless you're like a top 500 player. It's very hard to single-handedly carry a team, and it requires a lot of patience and flexibility because if you're solo queuing, you have to be able to play around your teammates. And as you know, if you've played Overwatch or any of these type of games, the second you tell someone else what to do, they will not take it very lightly, and it will not be a pleasant response. So instead of trying to get your teammates to work with you, it's been more beneficial to figure out what you can do to kind of synergize with your teammates as best as possible. Like for example, if you see a Gangu that's doing pretty well, then I'm gonna play Ana and make sure I give him the nano, Or if I see a Pharah that's doing well, I'll play support. I'm a support main tank flex, and I play support most of the time because my teammates would not want to pick support. So by nature, I became a support player. Anyways, I was really excited for Overwatch 2, mainly because Overwatch 1 was getting a little stale for me. I really liked the game other than the balancing. So if y'all know, if you've been keeping up with Overwatch, GOATS was a thing. GOATS is a team formation where you had 3 tanks and 3 support players, and the team that it's named after originally went with that formation because I believe they had no DPS players. So they're like, we'll just run 3 tanks and 3 supports, and they roll through everyone else. So everyone else is playing GOATs, and you see like Ryan Zarya and Diva, or like Lucio Brig and whatever else support. And yeah, it was kind of it there's a lot of nuance there, but the theory is you rotate through your tanks, and you have Baguette and Lucio just move everyone together, and you're just moving together as a death ball, and nothing can stop you. So Blizzard was like, oh no, what do we do? Then they're like, you know what, we will enforce role queue, so you have to pick 2 support, 2 tanks, and 2 DPS. And you know what happened? We got the most boring formation, double shield. So it was Sigma and Orisa. I like to just call him Ligma. And your Reaper, there's a Tracer. I don't remember the supports. And it was very easy to play double shield. Basically, you have Orisa put down the shield, and then when the shield died, Sigma can put out his shield. If his shield died, he can use his suck, and you will rotate through. So it's kind of like impenetrable barrier. So you kind of needed the Reaper for flanking. I don't remember the DPS, but yeah. And so it was really boring to watch. And so they're like, okay, we'll just nerf shield. So then what happened was Overwatch 1, like the characters and the playstyles felt incredibly like unimpactful, and everyone started to feel a little bit samey. That's just my takeaway. I'm pretty sure that's not the case, and I'm just not good enough at the game. But that's how it felt for me. So um, that said, I still liked it if I could just get a team that would play together, you know? So it was kind of, you know, like a stale meta, and just heroes that don't feel, you know, impactful anymore or fun. They just kept getting nerfed to the ground, and I lost interest, right? So come Overwatch 2, I was super hyped. And I downloaded it day one. I actually downloaded it before day one because you could pre-download it, and I kind of settled on Overwatch 2 being my main game. That was my thought going forward. And I poured 70 some hours into comp, solo queue mostly. And I played roughly 300, 400 games. And after that, I decided to quit. And here's why. The matchmaking is god awful. I mean, there's a lot of other problems with the game, but that matchmaking was the camel that broke the straw's back. So for for Overwatch 2, there's a lot of problems. The UI is super jank. If you look at the enemy team, their player cards are not lined up properly, and that's like a very simple fix. Still hasn't been fixed. If you go to recent players and you look for the avoid teammates button, which is it's not as important in Overwatch 2 because the likelihood of getting the same players again is very low. The player base seems to be definitely larger than Overwatch 1. But before, if you had like a really toxic teammate or very low impact teammate, you could just avoid him, right? That is hidden behind the player card because it's positioned in the wrong spot. There's a bunch of other UI things that are messed up, kind of like why are there redundant things in the UI, and then why are there important features or options we need locked behind a different screen, right? Not to mention the predatory monetization. We had skins in Overwatch 1 that were available for free. Now, people, I think they dump on Overwatch 1's loot boxes, but in reality, they were the best, in my opinion. They were perfectly implemented. The reason being is if you never spent a single penny on loot boxes, you can unlock everything for free just by playing the game. And on my account, with 1,000 hours on it, I almost had, I wouldn't say all of it, probably like, you know, a good 80% of cosmetics unlocked, and I could have unlocked more because I have coins. And how it works is when you open a loot box, if you already have an item, you're less likely to get an item you have, so it'll give you something you don't have. And if you do get an item, or you can just randomly get coins. So if you got a repeat, it will give you coins, and you can just get coins in general, and you can use those coins to buy the skins. And so for event skins, they would come back every time the event was on. It would be repeating annually. And for, I think there were like 5 or so skins that were locked behind the Legendary Edition, which you could have upgraded to for like $5. That's what I did. So imagine you have a game where you pay 40. I think I paid $40 for it when it came out. You could get everything in it for free. You could. You don't have to spend a single penny. In fact, buying loot boxes was probably a huge waste of money because you would get like voice lines and all of that. So every time events would come around, I would purposely spend my coins on the useless stuff like sprays, voice lines, all of that, so that I'd be more likely to get skins, and I would. So now those free skins are $20 on the store, and that's disgusting. Every time they have like a bundle, the Halloween bundle, the Kiriko skin looked pretty cool, but it was like $27 or something like that. And I was just like, oh my god, these skins used to be free. This is on top of a battle pass being available, and a battle pass doesn't give you enough premium currency like other battle passes do. Like Apex I'm playing right now, right? I'm talking over recorded footage. I couldn't talk and play at the same time. If I finish the battle pass, which I do every season, I get enough premium currency to buy another one. Same with Fortnite, I believe. And Apex doesn't. In fact, the only way to get the premium currency is by finishing the weeklies, which give you 60 a week. And if you do the math, it takes approximately 8 months to buy one of those $20 skins. So 4 months to get a battle pass, and it's just kind of disgusting. Anyways, so that aside, people argue that it's a free game and it shouldn't matter, but it does matter because these practices are predatory and they suck. And if you're okay with it, then you're gonna see more of that in more games. That's why it's very important that people say this sucks and don't put up with it, so that companies stop doing it. We came from horse armor to $20 skins, all right, fellas. So like, I personally don't believe a game should be free. I know that making a game and maintaining it costs money, so I'm totally fine with like an upfront cost for the first year, and then after that, have battle passes. And in my opinion, a battle pass, when you pay money for a battle pass, you should have that battle pass forever. It shouldn't be timed, because I gave you money and you should be giving me something back. I should be, in practice, purchasing all the cosmetic items in that battle pass. I just have to play the game a little bit. How battle passes are right now is I have the chance to obtain the items, right? But that doesn't make sense. It's like I'm gonna pay a restaurant for the chance to eat food, but I might not be able to, right? That doesn't make sense. When I give money, I get the food, it's mine, right? When I pay for something, it's mine, right? So when I pay for a battle pass, I should get it, and it should not expire. And another thing is, battle passes take too much time. I got wrecked right here. They take too much time to max out. For kids, it's fine. For students, it's sort of doable. But if you're working, if you have a family to take care of, if you have obligations, you really don't have a lot of free time. Most people have like maybe a couple hours on the weekends. So for me, I think a battle pass should be able to be maxed out in like a month if you only spend a couple hours a week. I mean, you can have other stuff on there too, but I'm just saying for the majority of people that want to play these games, they just can't get everything because they don't have the time. So that's my opinion. I would like to see battle passes that don't expire, and I would like to see battle passes that take a little less time to grind. And I think I support it because I want companies to make money. It doesn't make sense for you to pay one fee and then play a game for 6 years and not give them a single penny. So I feel like I'm against games being free. I think they should charge a certain amount, and then they should charge a certain amount every year for the continued development and maintenance of the game. But that should be it. Like no crazy cosmetics. Anyways, moving on to the matchmaking. So, oh man, Overwatch 1 matchmaking was, kind of like rolling the dice, but it was sort of fair, theoretically fair. So if you played Overwatch 1, for the majority of the ranked season, it was skill-based matchmaking. So skill-based matchmaking is a very simple idea. You match people of similar skill, theoretical skill, and that skill is indicated by a number. It could be MMR, SR, RP, whatever you want to call it. And you group people of similar skill together, and if you win, you must have done something better. And over time, if you are better, you will climb to a higher level. So for Overwatch, when you queued into like let's say a gold game, you were 2300. You would see that most people on your team and the enemy team were roughly around that level. You could have plus or minus 200. But basically, if you're gold, you're gonna get gold players, right? The only time you would see a deviation was if there was more than one person queued on a team. Let's say you were queued with a plat player and you were a silver player. You should potentially end up in a gold lobby because it averages out. And that's not optimal because, let's say your silver player is a DPS player and you can't get any kills. And the plat player is a support, might not be able to make up for that difference. But overall, it was theoretically fair. Now, it doesn't account for how toxic players are. It doesn't, take into account how bad the team synergy is. Sometimes you just have a bad game, right? But overall, if someone is super toxic and doesn't want to work, they should lose more games and rank down. Whereas someone who, tries to work with a team should rank up or stay the same depending on their skill level. So Overwatch 1, it was pretty obvious. You would see their ranks, and you can see their player icons, their player badges, and you can see the average team MR, MMR, SR, whatever. And you can see, oh, I'm supposed to be in a gold lobby. Now it doesn't take into account Smurfs. There were a lot of Smurfs in Overwatch, but honestly, if you kept playing, you would eventually get better or climb or D-rank depending on how well you play the game, right? Overwatch 2, it doesn't seem to be skill based. Now there's a new matchmaking system called engagement optimized matchmaking. I can link a paper to it in the description if you want to read up on it. But basically the theory behind engagement optimized matchmaking is that it is trying to make you play the game as long as possible by forcing certain win-loss cycles. So they were saying that, oh, if you have all losses, if you end on a loss, you're more likely to quit playing within a week's time frame than if you ended on a win. So they have data sets where it's like, okay, we're going to take a look at the data, and then we're going to see, depending on your win-loss cycle, like, the frequency of wins versus losses, draws, or the occurrences, or the, in what's that word I'm looking for? My brain just farted right there. In chronological order, people are more likely to quit. So they're like, we want to reduce that. So they're talking about percentages as low as like 5 point something percent was the highest, and then 2.2, they could get it down to 2.2 some percent, right? By making sure you end on a win. And so that might not seem like a big difference, but when you have like 270,000 people playing the game at a time, that's a huge difference, right? So I noticed in Overwatch 2 that I would have these massive win-loss cycles, and it wasn't really because of me. When I looked at the enemy team when I won, I was like, man, there's some really low-level players in there. So I was playing in Gold 1 as support, and I saw bronze players. I was like, what is this? Is there like a plat player on the enemy team to balance it out? And there wasn't. So these wins would be so hard that the enemy team couldn't get out of spawn. And if they could, for like the push maps, we would push it all the way. The enemy team could not push it even a little bit. And so you would go through these cycles when I'll lose 10 games, I'll win like 10 in a row, I'll lose 10 again. And so when I checked the games where I lost, I'm like, man, there's a huge DPS diff. And I was like, okay, that's weird, because like this guy has like 300 damage in the first 5 minutes. I was like, what? How is that possible? You have to be missing all your shots, right? So then I look and they're in bronze. I was like, this is a Gold 1 game. Everyone should be in Gold 1, or near Gold 1. So Gold 2, maybe Gold 3, maybe Plat 4, Plat 5, whatever the lowest is. And I was just like, this makes no sense. And then I realized that it was forcing me to win or lose games. Now, you can't guarantee a win or a loss, because you can't just account for people throwing, people making mistakes. But it was trying to increase the probability of me losing or winning. And it was doing it in a way where it didn't feel very fair, and it didn't feel like I could do anything to offset that. So like, if you have a bronze DPS player in a Gold 1 game, and they just can't perform, there's not much we can do to kind of work around that, especially if there's really, really good DPS players on the enemy team. I checked on some games, I had ex-plat players, and they were in high gold, and the game could tell how good they are, because they have access to the stats, and we just couldn't do anything. And so that feels very disheartening, because for ranked, I really like it because I want to get better. That's the main reason I play. I slowly learn over time by playing with similarly skilled players, or slightly better, slightly worse. And over time and practice, I get better. But when I have games like this, I just can't win or lose by performing well. It's just like, I'm either being carried, or like the enemy team is there's a huge skill diff, so they're just getting stopped, or we're getting stopped, and it doesn't feel pleasant. And it's kind of like akin to me playing in a pred lobby in Apex. I won't be able to learn if I'm dying before I know what I did wrong. You know, like I can't figure out how to play like a pred by being stomped by a pred over and over again. Now, over many years, maybe I'll improve. Who knows? But I need to play against someone who's just slightly better than me. You know what I mean? Or like I can't have a pred on my team and then have them boost me through a bronze lobby. It's not gonna work. Anyways, I saw that and I was like, man, I realized that. I mean, you can still climb. It's just harder for a support player. If you solo queue as DPS or a tank, you might have a chance. But because of that matchmaking, it doesn't feel good. And, you know, it's the rank doesn't actually matter anymore. Your rank is insignificant. It's just going to match you for win last cycle. Whatever cycle they want to force on you, that's what it's going to be. Now, you can still climb, of course. You can still climb by being good. You just have to be really, really good to climb super easily. And yeah, when I saw that, I realized something. Blizzard only cares about profit. Everything they do in the games now revolves around making a profit. So when I saw that, I was like, I kind of don't want to invest any more time in a game made by a company that only cares about making money. So like, you know, they promise a lot of stuff. The PvE is not in Overwatch 2. The fact that Overwatch 1, you know, existed for 6 years and was a very, very polished game, and then they took the stuff in Overwatch 1 and made it worse. You know, like there's no looking for group. Why is Mystery Heroes not in arcade? Why is there a bunch of UI problems? Why are there so many bugs? You know, just overall, it just doesn't feel really good. And when you realize that they don't care and they only care about making money, that's when I decided I can't, you know, I don't think there's a future for Overwatch. I mean, a lot of people still like it. I still like the game too. I just don't think that, you know, there's a future for Blizzard. I mean, starting with the I thought I would talk for shorter, but anyways, I'll just keep talking. Starting with like the Warcraft 3 remaster. I don't know how you botched that up. Diablo Immortal, and just everything they've been doing. Like World of Warcraft, they butchered, and not to mention, you know, all the horrible things coming out of the company, the allegations, and just that working environment. You know, I just don't think there's any possible future for Blizzard. You know, I wish they come around, and I wish they kind of cater to making games fun again. I hope they realize that the reason why they were so beloved and the reason why they got so big and made so much money was they made games that were fun. And instead of focusing on that, now they're making games trying to make money first, you know? And it sucks because there's a lot of talented and passionate developers in Blizzard. I'm pretty sure it's none of their faults. What can you do when the people in charge are asking you to do certain things? Anyways, that's it. Will I ever go back to Overwatch? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just me. I know that for the most part, there are probably way more people playing Overwatch now, and I'm happy to see that because I don't want to see Overwatch die. I have a very soft spot for that game, and I hope it does well. It's just for me personally, and I'm not crying about matchmaking either. I would actually be okay with playing matchmaking. I mean, playing Overwatch 2 comp as it is. It's just that when I see, you know, Blizzard and how profit hungry they are and how it's just ruining the purity of the game, the competitive aspect, and just the overall silly, goofy, but, you know, amazingly detailed world of Overwatch being ruined for the sake of making money, and it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, I'm the type of guy that will grind, you know, ranked. I don't really tilt. I do get angry at times, but I queue right back in. And you know, I spent 70 hours in Overwatch 2 solo queue comp. I played 300 400 games. I was willing to do more. I was actually addicted to the game, but when I saw that, I was like, man, I think the game has no future. I don't think Blizzard has a future anymore. It's gonna take a while to die. You know, take a look at BioWare. Take a look at EA. They're not dying. I don't think they're gonna die, but yeah, probably not for me. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening to these ghetto videos. We'll catch you guys next time.